Keep California cowgirls from vanishing. Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. Training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse, Semi. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Sadie practices over the haunches with an ATV mechanical cow simulator.
Pulling slack. And Susie's coming my way because she feels the pressure behind her horns.
Part 2 of continuing to train for harness pulling.
There's a saddled horse standing here in front of this camera for a show about harness pulling with a harness training pole. Well, this is Sadie, my youngster, and we're desensitizing her to all the harness straps and the blinders and the training pole and so forth, but she's also going to have to pull a single tree and a farm implement, and in the meantime some other objects that we're going to ask her to pull just for the practice of pulling, so that she can someday be a using horse in our farming efforts here at Minmore Farms. Well, Sadie has learned how to pull when we did obstacles work years ago. Today we have her saddled up because she just went on a trail ride, and she's a very good trail horse, by the way. We're going to see what she says about pulling this particular training device. It's just a 4x4 vinyl post, lightweight, with a long rope on it. Katie has never done this with Sadie, so I'm just going to guide her. Probably, it's not heavy enough to want to dally. Don't hesitate at all to drop the rope. Before we turned on the camera, we just pulled that vinyl post behind Sadie, and she was fine on it. You see, she's all relaxed. Her back leg is cocked. She's carrying her head low. She's fine. Let's see if she stays fine hearing this object on the sanded driveway behind her in saddle. When you make a G or haw turn, Katie, think about the rope possibly touching her hip, which is similar to a harness strap touching her hip or her legs. Now through the leaves on the driveway, absolutely no sign of stress. So we're going to give Katie and Sadie another pull, one that's a little bit heavier and makes different sounds. See the rope on her hip, and she's just fine on it. Okay, we have a new object to pull, much heavier because it's wood, solid wood. We have a rope on one end that's in a screw eye, and on the other end a chain. Now if we were worried about Sadie, we'd have somebody standing behind the log picking it up with the chain at first. But we don't think we're going to be worried. We just walked around her with the log making noises on the ground and the chain clanking with itself, and she seemed fine. Now Katie, show how you're going to dally if it's a little too heavy to pull. The same way you pull that vinyl. Okay, once around, let me zero in. Let's do it again. Around the horn. That's not really a dally horn, but at least it's a horn. Now, the one thing we do want to worry about with Sadie, that we don't want her to get hung up on that rope. You might even want to make it a little shorter, up off the ground. She tends to, when she gets stressed, lift her legs. We don't want it getting wrapped around her legs. We know the strengths and weaknesses of each of our horses, and we know what to watch out for in training. Okay, there we go. Let's see what happens if she tries to pull this log with Sadie down this driveway. Now she's going to make a right or a left turn. That is a G or a haw turn. The rope may touch her hips. As a matter of fact, over her hips did it go. Now Katie's going to have to straighten out, and it's now in Sadie's peripheral vision, but she seems fine on it. It's being pulled quite close to her back leg. She hasn't touched it yet. We don't know if she'd be concerned if she did touch it. Another turn here. Now she sees it. Another few feet in that direction. And I'd say that we have done enough log pulling today as a prerequisite skills test. And we'll next try to do it with Sadie. Oh, with a single tree and the harness on, okay? That's our plan. One small step at a time, making farming horses out of our Morgan horses.
Now we begin to desensitize Sadie in harness for pulling a single tree.
Pull today with Sadie in harness rather than in saddle, which we did yesterday. Now we're going to pull with the tug straps on, but we're going to show you putting the tug straps on because that's important too, and it can lead to problems. And then we've got a single tree here on the driveway, which, if all goes well, we'll hook to the tug straps. And I'm going to hold up the single tree. We're going to let the tug straps touch Sadie on the side of her body, on the side of her legs. And then, if all goes well, we might let the single tree rub along the ground here on the sanded driveway, which will make a sound. And that is something we need to desensitize Sadie to. Sadie's my youngest Morgan. So we're being very, very careful to do things in small steps. You want to put this on. Now watch this front buckle part. Going to make it on the first hole, okay?
Okay.
Has a buckle on the collar. And then we go through with the tug straps. Oh, make this the shortest holder for the tug straps. We're going to adjust this holder so that it's short, because Sadie tends to pick up her legs, and that worries us. We don't want her to get hung up in anything that's part of the harness. So we make things high enough, like at least 32 inches or more off the ground. It's all right. We had to add some holes to this tug strap holder. This is a new harness. We did several shows about how we fitted the harness and got the horses used to it. In some respects, a harness is much more of a challenge than a saddle. Okay, now my visual guide is loops like this and harness poles and so forth should be approximately at the top of her leg, no lower. I actually see things on RFD-TV vehicles and so forth that have much lower harness poles, and that would worry me. And we're in the process of making a forecart from an old Boland's wagon that we have, and we're going to bring the harness pole up and out, not just straight out from the axle, because of that clearance that we want to make sure we have. Watch how she does that. You see that? That's the kind of thing that I'm real worried about. It's all right, Sadie. Now it will take time. It will take time to desensitize her
It's okay.
Now, if she starts pulling away, we don't have a quick release here. There's no way to have a quick release here because it's a buckle. But at least it's not connected to anything now, and that's why we're doing it one small step at a time. So we're going to go down to the end of this driveway and do a G or a ha turn and come back. And if all goes well, we'll hook the single tree to these tug straps and do the same thing, holding the single tree up at first. And if all goes well there, we'll allow the single tree to make some noise on the ground behind Sadie. But first, before we hook up the single tree, we're going to move around Sadie with it on the ground so she sees it and hears it, but is not connected to it. One small step at a time. Step up. Step up. Good girl. I'm staying out of strike zone in case she gets excited. Step up. My little mini zebu bull is right here, but she's okay on it. We did that turn. Here we go again. This time I'm making the left one touch her. She's okay on it.
Oh.
Whoa. Good. Now leaving the camera on, Josh, if you would just pick up this single tree while I'm holding on to the tug straps.
Can we stop the camera so I can tighten this? It keeps falling.
Okay, we're going to stop the camera because we want to tighten the chin chain. Then we'll turn it back on again. Well, while the camera is off, in addition to adjusting the chin strap, I also adjusted the britchin temporarily. I didn't like the way it was sitting on the back of her legs far down. I want it more horizontal across her hips. So I've just done used some chain and a dog leash to kind of keep things up where I want them. And then before next session, we'll figure out how to make it easier and more quickly released if necessary. But to finish this session, Josh is going to keep the camera on us, and he's going to walk around us with the single tree. First up in the air, and let Sadie see it. Remember, she has blinders on. Not high up, just like at your belly level. So you're going to pick it up, let her see this thing that she maybe doesn't understand yet, and walk around. Now Josh knows how scared a livestock can get with this kind of thing, because the other day we tried it with my little heifer, my young heifer, and she got scared by seeing it. So we stepped back and said, okay, smaller steps. Now turn around and go that way. Josh, everything has to be done from both directions with livestock. They kind of think in two half brains. Good, good. Okay, now we're just going to walk a few steps. Not even yet. Let's do this. Put it down on the ground and do the same thing. But it's going to make a noise this time. A slight noise because it's on sand. It's all right. You see how she looks? I don't blame her. She said, I hear something. I didn't hear it before. What is it? Okay, and here, turn it around and do the other direction. Unless we start having agitation, then we'll stop. Slowly start up again. Good, good. It's all right. It's all right. We're doing this all with lead line today. And look how she tried to pick up her feet. Woo. Okay, Josh, come over here and disconnect those two clasps over there and put them on here. But stay with me, because if she gets freaked, we've got to get it off. Now watch, I'm going to keep those tug straps up higher than the bottom of her leg, at the top of her leg where it meets her hips. Josh is going to walk along with us. We're just going to go a little way so you can see and hear us without a camera operator. We just want to have enough people here that if we do have some kind of a spook, we can disconnect this thing that's attached to her that might be following her in such a way that she considers it a predator. Step up. It's all right. I'm pulling back. Don't go all the way this time, just it's all right. It's all right.
Right. Easy.
Leg. Yeah, she got excited. It's all right. Easy now. Easy. Easy. Very nice. I have to move fast behind her. And whoa. Okay, disconnect it, please. And hand it to me. We don't want anything dropping on the floor, on the ground that might spook her. And then take the single tree. Okay. And now, I feel that that's enough. That's a good note of resolution because we do want to adjust the harness a little bit better for next session. And we've gotten this far today. Next time, we'll try to put the single tree on the ground with a properly adjusted harness and quick releases everywhere we possibly can. I have to buy some more because I bought out my hardware store the other day. Whoa.
Let it.
Can you disconnect the tug straps and get them through so they are on the ground behind her? I'm holding up this end. Again, that's a buckle not so quickly released as a quick release would be. There's one. There's two. And you can walk her out, take her back to the railroad tie. But on your way there, I'm going to show, if you couldn't stop, if she doesn't get excited, I'm going to have her stop right here, and I'm going to show you from a different vantage point what I was concerned about.
Oh.
This britchin, which is a challenge in itself on any livestock.
Hey.
You see how she's getting antsy. That's why I chose that point to stop, because all of this adjusting of tack takes a lot of patience. It's looking like it's sitting right as she walks by. That's okay. You can move. Sometimes a horse needs to move when they're anxious. You can move. But you see here where I have some chains connected to the saddle to keep that britchin from sliding back. That's what it was doing. And then I have on the top, I have a very thin nylon dog leash that I connected from where the britchin sits on her back to the hook on the saddle. And you know, that's keeping it in good form. You see how now it's on her hip, almost horizontal. Before, it had slid down and this strap was down here. And that didn't look right to me, and I think it didn't feel right to her. So fitting tack properly is so important that we've done whole shows on it. And a lot of this show is about it too. There's no sense, it's no logic to go on. She just stepped on the single tree. That's okay, because we want her to get used to having these things all around her when she's pulling. And now we're going to remove the harness. Plan on doing this again in a few days, but with the proper tack and quick releases on the harness with my youngster, Sadie. And that's all for today. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl. Harnessed up. See how we have the tug straps held up with just a large carabiner so the tug straps can go slide through okay. We've been talking about how we're going to do things in our next step, so Eve is getting a little bit antsy. So you can see that. All I want to do today is document now what is the next step with Eve. We know that she can carry this harness pole. She isn't afraid of feeling the ABS on the side of her body like Sadie is. Sadie needs more desensitization, and Sadie is Eve's younger daughter. We are going to, next time we hitch, which obviously we're not going to do it now, we're going to deal with that single tree. Now watch, Eve is going to touch all these things. She needs to know where her feet are. She needs to be not afraid of those things. And she needs to be not afraid of the sound of those things. So for today, we're just going to do what we did with Sadie. And that is unhitched, but with reins on. So Sadie, we just did it with lead line. We're going to work the single tree around Eve so she hears it, both on turf and on sand. And I do have a camera operator here who's going to help us to get this on video, even though we don't have mics today. So here comes Eve, and Katie is very nicely holding the tug straps up and driving Eve with the reins. Can you stop her whenever you're ready? I'm going to bring the single tree around her and make some sounds and watch how she reacts. It's all right. It's all right. Here it is. Chains, ABS, a lot of clasps. First I'm going to let her see it. She's already seen it in the past, but let's have her remember. Remember, she has blinders on. There we go. Single tree, darling. I'm going to go all the way around. Now I'm going in the clockwise direction. Everything is done from both sides in both directions. I'm going to now go counterclockwise. Very nice, Eve. And now right in front of her, I'm going to put this single tree down. I have a chain to pull. It's going to make some sounds. She immediately heard that sound because it's sand. Makes a whole lot more sound on the sanded driveway. So now I'm heading for the turf. It's much more quiet here. But she wants to watch it. See, she's concerned. Remember that Katie does not have a lead line on. We're doing this with drive lines today. I'm going to come to her right side unless she reacts violently, in which case I'll stop and we'll make a smaller step. On the sand again, it's making more noise. She hears it. Watch her ears. She's listening. Now on the turf, it's more quiet. I'm letting her know I'm here. It's all right, Eve. It's all right, Eve. Good girl. Good girl. Turn around, go the other direction. Watch the, okay, good. Back her up. Backing up is a real good way to get focus. It's all right. It's all right, Eve. It's all right. Quietly on the turf. I'll watch her as I go onto the sanded driveway because it'll make more noise. Remember, she can't see it, she can only hear it. Look at her ears, trying to locate the sound. Back her up if you can. It's all right, Eve. It's all right, Eve. It's all right. Little more noise here on the sand. If she stands still, we're going to quit. That's going to be our moment of resolution. Otherwise, we can't quit because that means you're taking the pressure away when you're getting the wrong answer. So I'm going to wait until she settles down again. Back her up. Watch how Katie maneuvers her.
Oh.
It's all right, Eve.
Good girl.
Good girl. I'm going to make a little bit more noise, but I'm going to try to stop before she gets agitated.
Easy.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm going so she can see it.
Easy.
No. You see, we've got a whole lot more desensitization to do here on just sounds with all of this tack on. And next time, we'll make sure there's another person here because that's too much for Katie to deal with. Tug straps, driving lines. We should have somebody at Eve's head.
Oh.
So I can be at the head and we can have somebody help us by making these sounds and moving these objects around. Make sure your staff is adequate.
Oh.
Easy now. I'm going to lift it up a little bit so it doesn't make too much noise. It's all right. It's all right. Good girl, Eve. Good girl, Eve. Right in front of her where she can see it. I'm going to put it down, remove the pressure. And that's the end of our session today. One small step at a time. This is a very challenging training task, but it's all for the ultimate objective of making Eve and Sadie our farming horses here at Minmore Farms. And that's all for today.
Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Sammy, Rusty, and Susie. Heifer calf Sela. For more information, www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.